Walk out to your driveway for a second. Look at the badge on the front of your car. There's better than a 1 in 3 chance it belongs to a brand that just landed at the bottom of Consumer Reports rankings for 2026. Every year, Consumer Reports takes 31 car brands and scores them head to head. They road test them, they weigh the safety, and they survey the owners who actually live with these cars day in and day out. Then comes the big one, reliability. They stack all 31 from best to worst. Today, we're walking through the 10 brands that ended up at the very bottom of that list. The 10 they're quietly steering smart buyers away from for 2026. And here's the part that's going to surprise you. This isn't just a list of fancy foreign nameplates nobody you know can afford. Some of the most trusted, best-selling badges in America are sitting down here in the basement. Brands your neighbor swears by, brands that have been in your family for 40 years. The single worst brand on the entire list isn't a Mercedes, and it isn't a Land Rover. It's a name sitting in millions of American driveways right now. A brand people genuinely love, and it finished dead last. Before we start, one thing, because I know some of you are about to spot your own badge on this list. If it's there, don't take it personally, and don't panic. This is about what these companies are building right now. The new, complicated, turbocharged, screen-covered stuff rolling off the line today. It is not about that paid-off truck in your driveway that's carried you faithfully for 15 years and 200,000 miles. That old one earned your trust. The only question is whether the new one deserves it. Stick with me to the end, and you'll know exactly where your brand landed, why it landed there, and what their mistakes could cost you out of pocket. Let's start the countdown at number 10. Number 10, Volkswagen. We kick off with Volkswagen, and this is the brand that got off easiest out of the whole bottom 10. Sit with that for a second. Out of 31 brands, Volkswagen is the best of the worst, and it still couldn't climb out of the basement. Consumer Reports parked it near the bottom for 2026, and the reason is the one that haunts every German car once the warranty is gone: electronics. Volkswagen sells you the idea of German engineering at a reasonable price. What too many owners find a few years in is a car that turns fussy and expensive the moment something electronic decides to quit. A sensor, a control module, that automatic gearbox they're so proud of. None of it is cheap. Once you're out of warranty, a nagging electrical gremlin or a transmission control fault can run you $1,200 to $3,000, and that's before anybody has touched the actual engine. Here's the contrast that ought to stick with you. A plain Toyota or Honda of the same age simply doesn't generate those bills. It starts, it runs, it stays boring. And that boring is worth real money. The fix, if you've got your heart set on one, is the same all day long. Buy it barely used with the factory warranty still on it, and get rid of it before that warranty runs out. Let the next fellow inherit the electrical bills. That's the game the badge would rather you didn't know you could play. And if you think a Volkswagen gets expensive when the warranty dies, wait until you see what the fanciest badge on this list does to a repair bill. Number 9, Mercedes-Benz. Number 9 is the one that makes people mad when they see it, because they paid a fortune specifically to avoid this. Mercedes-Benz, the three-pointed star, the brand that's supposed to mean you've finally arrived. Consumer Reports ranked it dead last among the European brands for 2026, the least reliable of the entire prestige crowd. Let me put it side by side so it really lands. Picture two driveways. One holds a 5-year-old Mercedes that cost $80,000 new. The other holds a 5-year-old Camry that cost $30,000. The Camry owner is changing oil and buying tires. The Mercedes owner is booking dealer visits for air suspension that's sagging, electronics that throw tantrums, and warning lights the corner garage won't even touch. And those repairs match the badge. An air suspension or major electronics job on one of these lands somewhere between $2,500 and $6,000. And the service writer quotes it with a straight face. Same 5 years. One owner spent luxury money to feel safe from breakdowns. The other spent Camry money and actually got safe. That's the dirty secret of the whole luxury game. You are not paying for reliability. You're paying for the badge, and the badge mails you a repair bill to remember it by. If you truly want one, the move is simple. Lease it. Let it become somebody else's problem when the warranty dies, and never, ever own one out of warranty on a fixed income. So far, it's been foreign badges taking the hits. Number 8 is where this list gets personal for a whole lot of you, because it's one of the most American names there is. Number 8, Chevrolet. Number 8 is Chevrolet. And I already know some of you just sat up straight in your chair. Before you fire off an angry comment, hear me all the way out, because this is exactly the trap this whole list is about. The Chevy that earned your loyalty. The simple small block V8, the truck that ran forever on nothing but oil changes. That Chevy is not the Chevy Consumer Reports is scoring for 2026. They're scoring what's rolling off the line today, and that is a very different animal. Here's the mechanism, the actual why. General Motors went all in on new technology, and the new technology is what's failing. Their electric vehicles, built on the Ultium battery system, have been landing owners with battery failures and climate control problems. Their freshly redesigned crossovers came out with well below average reliability the moment they hit the road. Every screen, every turbo, every ground-up redesign is one more brand new thing that can break. When a modern turbocharged engine or one of these new generation transmissions lets go out of warranty, you're looking at somewhere from $1,800 to $4,000 on a truck that used to be famous for costing you next to nothing. That's the betrayal in one sentence. They coasted for decades on a reputation your generation built for them, and now they're selling complicated, fragile machines under that same trusted bow tie. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely want to see it in the comments. Is there a Chevy or a GMC sitting in your driveway right now? Tell me the year, and tell me straight. Has it been the bulletproof one you remember, or the new kind that lives at the shop? I read these, and I want to know what you're all seeing out there. And Chevy is only number 8. 7 brands scored even worse, and the next one built its whole comeback on a single vehicle that Consumer Reports just rated one of the least reliable cars in America. Number 7, Chrysler. Number 7 is Chrysler, and it's a brand hanging on by a thread. Once upon a time, Chrysler had a whole showroom full of cars. Today, it's basically down to a minivan, and that minivan is dragging the entire name down with it. Consumer Reports rated the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid one of the 10 least reliable vehicles in all of America for 2026. Its reliability score came in at 26 out of 100. 26, let that sink in. A perfect score is 100, an average car sits around 50, and this thing limped in at 26. Here's why that number matters so much for this particular van. Families buy a Pacifica to haul kids and grandkids around. It's supposed to be the dependable one, the workhorse. Instead, the plug-in hybrid system, the battery, the electronics juggling gas power and electric power, is exactly what keeps breaking. And when that complicated hybrid system fails outside the warranty, it is not a cheap afternoon. A hybrid battery or drive system repair on one of these can run anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 on a family van. The lesson underneath this one is bigger than Chrysler. The more the engineers pile on, 2 power sources instead of 1, a wall of electronics to referee between them, the more there is to fail, and the bigger the bill when it does. A simpler van from a reliable brand costs a fraction to keep alive. The next brand takes that whole idea to the extreme because it's so new it barely has a track record at all, and what little it has is alarming. Number 6, Rivian. Number 6 is Rivian, and this one is a lesson in a pattern as old as the car business itself. Rivian is the new electric truck company everybody out in Silicon Valley was cheering for, and Consumer Reports put it flat at the bottom for reliability. The single least reliable brand they measured this year. Here's the pattern worth burning into memory because it repeats every single time. A brand new company building a brand new kind of vehicle stuffed with brand new technology is going to have problems. It always has. It always will. There's no 50 years of hard-won lessons baked into that truck. No generations of quietly working the bugs out. You, the early buyer, are the one working the bugs out. The crash test dummy with a payment book. And here's the strange twist. Rivian owners largely love their trucks anyway. A huge share of them say they'd buy another one tomorrow. That tells you these are devoted folks willing to put up with the growing pains, but loving your truck doesn't make it dependable, and it sure doesn't pay the repair bills. When something does go wrong on a low-volume electric truck like this, you can be out several $1,000s, and worse, waiting weeks or months on a part that barely exists yet. The old rule your father knew still holds. Never buy the first year of anything. Let a company earn its reliability over time before you hand it your money, especially the money you're counting on for retirement. Number 5, Alfa Romeo. Number 5 is Alfa Romeo, and this one comes with a warning you need to hear before a salesman ever gets you near one. Alfa Romeo makes gorgeous cars, stunning to look at, a joy to drive for about the first 20 minutes, and Consumer Reports parked the brand right down here in the bottom 5 for 2026. So let me put the question straight to you. Have you ever known somebody who owned an exotic Italian car? Ask them how much time it spent in the shop, ask them what the repair bills looked like, then ask yourself honestly whether that's the story you want on a fixed income at a stage of life where a car that won't start on a cold morning is a whole lot more than an inconvenience. Because that's the reality hiding behind the pretty sheet metal. Fussy Italian electronics and finicky mechanicals that can hand you a $2,200 to $5,500 bill for the sort of thing a Toyota would never dream of doing. An Alfa is a beautiful weekend fling. It is not a car you build a dependable life around, and it is absolutely not the one you want to be the last car you ever buy. And look, if this countdown is already saving you from an expensive mistake, do me one small favor and tap that subscribe button. I put out a fresh one of these every single day, cutting through the ads and the salesman talk for folks who just want a car that starts every morning and doesn't rob them blind. Subscribe, and the next one comes right to you. And speaking of brands that used to be simple and got themselves complicated, number 4 is a name built on muscle that's quietly lost a step. Number 4, Dodge. Number 4 is Dodge, and it's a heartbreaker for the muscle car crowd. Dodge built its whole identity on big, simple, tire-shredding V8s, the kind of engine you could understand just by looking at it. But that's not really what Dodge is selling anymore. And Consumer Reports has the brand sitting 4th from the very bottom for 2026. Here's the mechanism, and it comes down to who owns Dodge now. Dodge is part of a giant conglomerate called Stellantis, the same parent company behind several other brands on this exact list. And that parent has been squeezing costs and chasing trends hard. The result? Their newest small SUV, the Hornet, is really an Alfa Romeo underneath the skin, the same fussy, complicated Italian machinery we just talked about at number 5, wearing a Dodge badge instead. They traded the big simple engine everybody trusted for a small turbocharged one with a great deal more to go wrong. And when those modern turbo engines and their electronics start acting up out of warranty, you're staring down $1,500 to $3,500 for the kind of repair the old V8 would have laughed right off. That's the through line of this entire list, showing up brand after brand after brand. They take a name that earned its good reputation on simple, honest machinery, and they quietly swap in complicated, fragile stuff underneath, while charging you more and betting you won't notice until the warranty is long gone. But we're into the top 3 now, and these last 3 brands didn't just score poorly. They're the ones Consumer Reports rated the absolute worst of all 31. Number 3, GMC. Number 3 brings us right back to General Motors, this time wearing a GMC badge. And truck folks, the same rule from Chevy applies here, so stay with me. Consumer Reports ranked GMC 3rd from the bottom of all 31 brands for 2026, 3rd worst in the whole country. And the numbers point straight at the new stuff. GMC redesigned its Acadia SUV, and the fresh version came out with well below average reliability. They redesigned the terrain, and it landed below average too. Lately, when GMC builds a brand new model, it tends to build a brand new headache right along with it. That's the tell. It is not the 15-year-old GMC pickup on simple, proven mechanicals that's the problem. It's the latest, greatest, screen-filled, turbocharged, just redesigned models. The exact ones the salesman is pushing hardest, that keep landing at the bottom of the reliability charts. And these are not little bills. A transmission or turbo problem on one of these newer GMCs out of warranty runs $2,000 to $4,500 without much trouble. So if you love your old GMC, love it. Keep it. Run it clean into the next decade. Just walk into that showroom with your eyes wide open, because the new one on the floor is not built the way the one in your driveway was. Number 2 leaves the trucks behind and heads back to the luxury lot, to a brand that costs a fortune to buy and an even bigger fortune to keep. Number 2, Land Rover. Number 2 is Land Rover, the second worst brand on Consumer Reports' entire 2026 list, and maybe the purest example there is of paying dearly for a name. Let me stand it right next to its natural rival, because the contrast is almost unfair. A Land Rover and a Toyota Land Cruiser are built to do the very same job. Go anywhere, climb anything, carry the family in comfort. The Land Cruiser has a legendary reputation for running for decades and hundreds of thousands of miles on basic care. The Land Rover has a reputation for living at the dealership. Same mission, wildly different lives. Land Rovers are famous for troublesome air suspension, for electronics that fail in expensive ways, for leaks and gremlins that never seem to quit. And each of those visits is no small thing. A failed air suspension or electronics module can top $4,000, and the cruel part is they don't tend to come one at a time. You're not buying a rugged, dependable machine. You're buying the idea of one wrapped around a repair habit that will bleed you for as long as you own it. Anybody who's had one out of warranty knows exactly what I mean. Which leaves just one. The single worst car brand in America for 2026, according to Consumer Reports, and I promise you, it's a name you did not expect to hear at the bottom. Number 1, Jeep. Number 1. The worst ranked car brand of all 31 for 2026 is Jeep. I told you at the very start it wasn't a Mercedes and it wasn't a Land Rover. It's Jeep, the rugged, all-American, go-anywhere brand people tattoo on their arms and wave to each other on the road, dead last. Here's the number. Consumer Reports rated Jeep the least reliable brand overall, and one of its flagship models, the Grand Cherokee in plug-in hybrid form, landed among the least reliable vehicles in the entire country. And here's the mechanism, the reason it happened, and it ties this whole list together with a bow. Jeep is owned by Stellantis, so are Dodge, Chrysler, and Alfa Romeo. Every single one of them already on this list tonight. That is 4 of the 10 worst brands in America, all under one roof, all getting the same cost-cutting, complexity-chasing treatment from the same parent company. The Jeep that earned the legend was simple. A straight 6 engine, solid axles, not much to go wrong. The Jeep they sell now is loaded with turbochargers, plug-in hybrid systems, and electronics. And when that plug-in system fails out of warranty, you can be $5,000 deep and still climbing. They took the toughest name in America and made it fragile. That is not you being wrong to love Jeeps. That's them being wrong to cash in on your love for them. So there it is. The 10 brands Consumer Reports is steering smart buyers away from in 2026. Step back and look at the pattern because it's the whole story. 4 of these 10, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Alfa Romeo, belong to one company, Stellantis. 2 more, Chevrolet and GMC, belong to General Motors. 6 of the 10 worst brands in America come from just 2 parent companies, both cutting corners, both piling on complexity, both betting you'll keep buying on the strength of a reputation they are actively burning through. Here's what I want you to carry out of this. Look at who is not on this list. The brands that topped Consumer Reports rankings are the same ones your gut already trusts. Toyota, Honda. The dependable names that just start every morning and ask for nothing but an oil change. That paid-off car in your driveway from one of those brands isn't old-fashioned. It's the smartest thing on 4 wheels. So when a salesman tries to talk you out of it and into a shiny new badge from tonight's list, onto a payment on a fixed income, you'll know better. Keep it simple, keep it running, and it will outlast every complicated new thing they're trying to sell you. And if you want to see the other side of this list, the brands Consumer Reports says you actually can trust in 2026, the ones genuinely worth your hard-earned money. I've got that video ready for you right up on the screen. Go watch that one next, and I'll see you there.